Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Man at YouTube with another modelling video. Today I'll be building my second HGUC Gaza-C depicted from Zeta and Double Zeta Gundam. I've snapped and built the two together a few months ago, a part of the Gunpla Builders Australia group build Forgotten Relics. One I intended to be out of the box, the other modified for a diorama. It's been put off hold for a little while, but slowly built in between other projects and currently complete. There's not a lot of notes I can leave with you from the previous build. We've got 3 runners. Instructions are standard, all Bandai quality. Being HGUC, it is of a higher standard compared to other lines of high grades, though among all of them together, this is probably one of the more poorer kits. The major flaws are the seam lines. They're an abundance of them all over the place, though it is a very unusual design of mobile suit that's fully transformable to mobile armor. I'm not willing to test this out, mostly as there is a joint between the fuselage of the mobile armor, the upper body of the mobile suit, and the lower body. I had trouble in the second build with joints breaking, and the more superior joints passed on to this kit, so I'm not willing to test out the transformation of the suit after painting. Now, treating this as an overall proportioned and accurate build according to the anime, this is a very cool scale model. Goes together, sort of a fun build. Color separations are very nice, was not too difficult to paint at all, and I do like the clear bits of the mono eye and the shoulder camera for the gun. I think the gun attached to the body is also quite an interesting and fun concept. Not a big fan of the rubber tubes all over the place, though I was able to paint them and stick them into place. Again, not going to play with the articulation or transformation because paint will flake off of that, as well as the very weak build around the arms and torso. Would I recommend this model to buy, build, snap compared to your other high grade or 1:144 scale models? Yes, definitely. I think it is very cool and it's extremely unique. You could put in all sorts of interesting poses, or you could solidly glue it into one piece. If I was to build another one, I think I'll attempt a resin one, recast or not, as a non-articulated straight solid build would hold together and still capture a lot of the nice detail, getting rid of these weak joints and rubber pipe work. So if you'd like it and you don't care about articulation or transformation, I think resin would be the way to go. But if spending $50 to $100 is not in your taste, then this is more than good enough if you're willing to tolerate those faults or fix them yourselves. Now, painting. Color separated the whole lot and put them on individual pegs. Masked joints, polycaps, articulation points, and whatnot. Primed everything with Tamiya lacquer primer via airbrush, and then using Mr. Surfacer Black 1500, just generally did a bit of pre-shading, outdoing all of the lines. What is very cool, the very first trip I did in Japan, a good 4 or 5 years ago, I picked up a heap of these special Gundam packs, colour paints from Mr. Hobby. They're synthetic base, so very, very thick, needs lots and lots of thinner, but produces an absolute ton of paint. Bought a heap of these box sets very, very cheaply, and it was an excellent opportunity to deploy that. I had the very unique pinks and purples for what I'm looking for. Mr. Hobby provided the absolute perfect purple, and Alclad 2 for thrusters and the copper. Unfortunately, that particular paint box set is extremely old and considered to be old stock many years back then, you won't be able to likely find it again. I post shaded all the pieces together, panel lined and clear coded to give it a very basic scheme. Had it assembled and displayed at the Animanga around September, June-ish. Publicly, you may have seen it in previous videos or pictures posted online. Now, the pain in the arse part at this point of the build was not too satisfied with the finish, and following MOTD, the gentleman who won the Australian Heat of the Gunpla Builders World Cup, saw a couple of his recent builds and tried to copy similar styles on this kit, and attempted to push shading on this model quite hard by giving all the lowlights and under edges gradient effect of straight black, and some of the highlight areas that light would likely shine on it just a hard white paint shading around the place. And it gave the kit a lot of definition to my surprise, and kept pushing the model as a painting experiment. Being frustrating, I wanted it to do it very, very well, so everything was very fragile and slow from this point onwards. Following, I've ripped out some official Bandai decals, as well as some lovely printed Kubele decals from Samuel Decals. Very nice Neo-Zeon conflict axis scheme, and plastered close to 100 decals across the entire model, followed by a few clear coats and pearlescent paints to finish things off for extra shine as a clean finished model straight out of the factory look. Being quite close to the end of the year and reviewing a lot of the models that I've completed during this timepiece, which video will be released about that this week before the year does end. I've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort tuning my painting abilities, especially during the series honing your airbrush skills. I've really pushed myself quite hard in painting this model, and probably be the best clean built and paint kit that I've done, besides some minor physical mistakes. The other kit that stands strong with this one is the Dra-C, my best effort at weathering and giving a model definition painting wise, which did quite well in a few competitions. As always, this model has been an absolute fantastic learning curve. The kit itself isn't too great, but just as always, working at it and trying to bring out its best points forward, and hiding and modelling, engineering the faults out. Realistically, it doesn't matter what kit you get your hands around. If you have the dedication and pushing yourself and pushing the model to its best, no matter what model it is out there, no matter how much work and creativity, you can always do something quite cool, being out of the box, true to the reference material, or just an all-out crazy scratch build modification project. I recently saw a really big build incorporating this kit with about a ton more detail sticking out of the side shoulders, the biggest backpack ever, and a larger chest-mounted cannon, which impressed the hell out of me, but knowing that that modeler also went through the similar problems I did. All in all, thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next year. The year will be wrapping up very shortly, so I'll be putting out the last of the videos with the end of year video on Wednesday. And next year I'll start up a vlog talking about what we'll be looking forward to and what will be the big projects of 2015. Thank you very much, and until next time.